Imagine a single pigeon being sold for more than $1 million. What makes a bloodline truly valuable? Is it pure speed, endurance, or elite genetics passed down over generations? Behind these astonishing prices lies a hidden world of inherited dominance, proven families, and genes that keep winning long after the spotlight moves on. Genetic research in pigeon racing has expanded rapidly in recent years. Independent testing platforms have analyzed thousands of pigeons, including race winners, national champions, OLR finalists, and foundation breeders. Across these datasets, the same genetic patterns appear repeatedly. The LDHA-AA profile is commonly found in pigeons excelling from sprint to middle distance, but is far less frequent in extreme marathon birds. The DRD4-CTCT or CCCT profiles repeatedly appear in proven middle and long-distance winners. The CRY1-AGTT profile, linked to the cryptochrome gene involved in orientation and the internal compass, is a newer and highly promising discovery, especially frequent among successful night and long-distance flyers. They are based on published genetic data analyzed by specialists. Before we look at the bloodlines that truly changed the market, we need to start with two pigeons that set a new global benchmark. Armando was more than an exceptional long-distance racer. He became a global benchmark for elite genetics. Bred in Belgium, he was sold at public auction for €1.252 million, redefining value in pigeon racing. What set Armando apart was not one result, but consistent top performance and the proven quality of his offspring. Armando's offspring also drew high bids. In auction, 7 of his children were sold for a total of €150,900, averaging around €21,500 per bird. Armando changed how bloodlines are evaluated: performance first, pedigree second, and repeatability above all. New Kim confirmed that Armando was not an isolated case. Bred in Belgium and sold through a public auction, she became a global reference for elite middle-distance genetics after reaching a sale price of €1.6 million. Her value was driven by measurable performance and exceptional demand. While New Kim's specific genetic profiles have not been publicly disclosed, her racing results and the market response to her offspring clearly demonstrated the strength of her inherited qualities. The impact of her bloodline became evident at auction, where her children and later descendants collectively generated well over €2 million, reinforcing that true value in pigeon racing is created when performance and breeding potential align. Together, Armando and New Kim proved that exceptional pigeons with verified results can redefine the upper limits of value in this sport. And you know what else can redefine how you care for your pigeons? Subscribing to this channel for sure updates on all matters pigeon. Moving on as you hit that like. Alongside the 5 bloodlines we highlight here, it is important not to forget the founders of commercial pigeon racing. Before modern auctions and international bidding wars, the Jansen brothers of Arendonk laid the foundation for commercial speed pigeon breeding. Their pigeons were not valued for hype, but because they consistently performed. Balance, orientation, recovery, and reliability defined the Jansen type. More importantly, their name became one of the first true commercial guarantees in the sport. Today, Jansen blood is no longer a pure modern line, but the genetic backbone behind countless families that followed. Its importance is historical and foundational, not speculative. Unlike some high-profile auction cases such as Armando or New Kim, there is no single consistently documented price bracket showing Van Loon pigeons themselves selling at extreme headline levels. However, the long-term value of the Van Loon bloodline is clearly reflected through its influence on other elite lofts, like Koopman pigeons. A significant part of the Koopman breeding base is still built on Van Loon blood, and it was precisely through this structured, results-driven breeding program that the performance and commercial value of Van Loon genetics became widely recognized. In that sense, Koopman played a key role in establishing the modern reputation and market value of Van Loon pigeons, not through isolated auction prices, but through consistent results and repeatable breeding success. As a result, Prices for Van Loon bloodstock continue to vary widely, depending on the pedigree, performance, and market demand, while their genetic impact remains firmly embedded in top-level racing families. Nadine once again showed that exceptional value in pigeon racing is not accidental. Bred in Belgium, she was sold at public auction for €1.25 million, placing her among the most expensive pigeons ever sold. Her value was not based on race results alone, but on pedigree strength and expected breeding impact. Interest in her bloodline extended to her offspring, confirming strong market confidence in her genetics. No public genotype profiles for Nadine have been disclosed. This does not mean genetic testing was never performed. It simply indicates that any such data, possibly generated by private or independent laboratories, has not been made publicly available. Her valuation was therefore driven by pedigree, demand, and breeder trust rather than published genetic markers. Together with pigeons like Armando and New Kim, Nadine illustrates how elite genetics can redefine the upper limits of value in modern pigeon racing. The Kittel bloodline is one of the most influential sprint lines in modern pigeon racing, with its origins firmly rooted in Belgium. The rise of this line is closely linked to pigeons such as Best Kittel, who delivered exceptional national sprint performances. His achievements include becoming first national ace pigeon sprint KBDB 2017 with a record-low coefficient, confirming his dominance at the highest national level. Beyond race results, the lasting strength of the Kittel bloodline lies in its repeatability and breeding impact. Within the Best Kittel family, a clear genetic pattern has been identified in the CRY1 gene, which is linked to orientation and the pigeon's internal navigation system. This bloodline shows a strong concentration of the AGTT profile carried by Best Kittel himself, as well as top descendants such as Junior, Best Kittel II, and Daniel. This consistency points to a stable genetic transmission of key performance traits. In addition, a rare TTTT profile within the CRY1 marker appears exclusively in absolute elite performers from the same family. This profile has been identified in pigeons such as Victory Best Kittel, First Super Ace Victoria Falls, Shakira, Olympic Shakira, and Shakira II, further reinforcing the genetic depth and dominance of the line. Market value has followed performance and breeding confidence. A documented auction case involving a Best Kittel descendant sold for approximately €510,000 in a sale linked to the PIPA Elite Center, demonstrating that exceptional prices can be achieved for top Kittel bloodstock. At the same time, auction results vary widely. Specialist sales show a broad range of prices depending on pedigree, performance, and market demand, rather than a fixed or guaranteed price level. The legacy of the Kittel bloodline is therefore best understood not through headline prices alone, but through its continued competitive presence, repeatable genetic structure, and long-term influence within elite breeding programs worldwide. It is this combination of performance, inheritance, and reliability that has positioned Kittel as a defining reference in modern sprint pigeon racing. What all these bloodlines have in common is not a single spectacular race, a record-breaking price, or a moment of fame. It is repeatability. Time and again, these lines prove that performance is not accidental, but the result of deliberate selection, proven inheritance, and genetic stability. With Armando, New Kim, Nadine, and Kittel, the same pattern emerges. Exceptional performance followed by sustained demand for their descendants. Not because the market wants to believe it, but because results keep repeating across different lofts, countries, and conditions. With Jansen and Van Loon, we see the foundation of this system, bloodlines built on decades of reliability and long-term influence, not hype. What separates these pigeons from the rest is that they do more than perform once. They pass performance on. Their value lies not in what they were, but in what they continue to produce. That is why serious buyers do not chase race results, but study family patterns, genetic consistency, and proven repetition across generations. Modern genetic markers such as LDHA, DRD4, and CRY1 now confirm what experienced breeders have long understood. Elite pigeons emerge when multiple genetic traits align and remain intact over generations. This is not luck, this is selection. For fanciers, buyers, and anyone curious about the true mechanics of pigeon racing, these bloodlines show what happens when patience, knowledge, selection, and DNA collide. The stakes are high, the margins are small, but when it comes together, the results are extraordinary. This is why these bloodlines are worth millions. Not because of stories, but because of proof. Want to see where the real money is? Watch World's Most Expensive Pigeon: Why Asians Pay Millions. Subscribe and check the playlist to explore the birds, the auctions, and the families that command fortunes and redefine what a racing pigeon can be.